Hello guys, in this video we're going to be having a look at how we can name fractions. And I'm also going to be going over some of the conventions of fractions that are things that are sometimes misunderstood or get in the way of us really understanding this concept. So just here we have a pie, and looks very delicious pie, and we're going to create some fractions with that pie. I'm going to say 1 whole. Okay, because that's 1 whole. We could write the number 1, because that's 1 whole. Okay, so now I have another pie here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pie in half. So I'm going to draw a cut mark right down the middle here. It's very important when we make a half that both sides are exactly the same size. Otherwise it's not actually a half. And that's one of the things that trips a lot of people up with fractions. Anyways, we could write that as 1 half, like that. And if we want to write it in fraction notation, it's going to look like this. Notice we have a 1 on the top, and then a little line, and then a 2 on the bottom. In fraction notation, when we have the number on the top and the bottom, they have mathematical names. So this number on the top is called the numerator, and this number on the bottom is called the denominator. Now don't let that confuse you. That's something that you can learn over time. But what's more important is what these numbers mean. Okay, we're going to start with the number on the bottom. So the number 2 tells us that this fraction is 1 whole that's split into 2 equal parts. So that's like we've got here, 2 equal parts. And the 1 on the top tells us how many of those parts we're talking about. Now this says 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour in one of these halves here. So now I have a half drawn, 1 half, written as 1 half, and written as a fraction 1 half. Let's have a look at another one. Okay, so this one, I'm going to cut it into 3 equal pieces. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So I've got 3 equal pieces. Once again, I'm going to colour just one of them. So I'm going to colour in this piece here. Now the part I've coloured is called 1/3, and I can write it as 1/3 in words. And when I want to write it as a fraction notation, I write it like this: 1 and a 3. Once again, this 3 on the bottom tells us how many parts the whole has been cut into. So we've got 3 equal parts, and one of them has been coloured. So that one is coloured, and that's 1/3. Okay, in this one, I'm going to draw a line down the middle, cut it this way, and I'm going to cut it across the middle in the other direction. So now I have 2 cuts and 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. Once again, I'm just going to colour one of them, and I can write that as 1/4. If I want to write that as fraction notation, I can write it like this: 1, a line across the middle, and a 4 on the bottom. The 4 tells us 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 1 on the top tells us that one of them is coloured in. Okay, so we've got one last pie here. This time I'm going to cut it into 5 equal parts. All right, let's say we've got 5 equal parts there. This is actually quite a difficult one to draw. You'll find that out when you have a go yourself. All right, I'm going to colour in one of the parts again, and I'm going to name that fraction in words. So that's 1 fifth. And I write the fraction like this. 1 on the top because we've got one part out of 5 parts. So the thing to remember here is that when something is cut into 5 equal parts, it's called a fifth. And we write that fraction with a 5 on the bottom. When a whole is cut into 4 equal parts, it's called a quarter. And we write the fraction with a 4 on the bottom. If a whole is cut into 3 equal parts, we call it a third. And we write that with a 3 on the bottom. And a half is when we have a whole cut into 2 equal parts and we write a 2 on the bottom. That's how we can name some common fractions. Take a look down in the description. I'll put a link to some other videos that might also be helpful with this topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.